Hey everybody, welcome back to another film of the week. Hope you guys have been enjoying the content on the channel as of late. I'm actually going to record this quickly. I know I say this a lot, but I actually mean it this time because I have dinner right here, so I just want to get this done real quick. And to be frank, I don't have much to say about this film. And this one was a rather random choice because I had a film in mind, but to be honest, I just wanted to watch something kind of short and sweet, and I just wasn't in the mood to watch something like the one I was going to pick was like 2.5 hours long, so I just wasn't in the mood for that. Just want something bite sized, something that I can just get done, and something that I was also interested in at the same time. So went looking through Netflix and stumbled upon a film that I was curious about and have not seen. Also was short, so I figured, hey, let's just give it a shot. So decided to check out Arctic, which was co-written and directed by Joe Penna, whose other credits include, as I look through here, Stowaway with Anna Kendrick and Toni Collette, which I've also reviewed on this channel. And I remember having some mediocre thoughts on it, nothing too big an overall feeling. But Arctic being his big splash debut, I believe, he also has a YouTube page, so he's also a bit of an internet personality. So, but yeah, he made his directorial debut with Arctic. So, starring Mads Mikkelsen as a man. They don't give him a name, and he's stranded in the Arctic Circle, hence why the film's called Arctic. And you could see that he's been there for quite some time because he's created some routines and getting food and also trying to receive signals from any outside sources. So he just goes up to the top of a hillside and he cranks up a signal like beacon of sorts. And one day he actually does receive some sort of signal, and a helicopter appears and he tries to signal it over to his area. And what occurs is that the helicopter crashes. He inspects the crash and he finds one lone survivor in that of a female, the others unfortunately passing in the crash. And he takes it upon himself to take care of this person and to see to their well-being. And throughout the film, she is fairly unconscious and also with the cold getting worse in her condition. And he finds in this map an outpost, a station that is ways away, and he initially is very hesitant to do so because of the harsh conditions that come with the Arctic Circle. And eventually he decides to take the risk and takes himself and the passenger on a journey through the Arctic Circle in hopes to reach the outpost station before they succumb to the cold and just flat out just perish. So, and ultimately that is what the film is relying upon, thematically speaking, is about taking risk and the rewards, but also to some measure the consequences to taking risk to sustain and move forward in one's life, and not to rely upon some ego, some ignorance, some selfishness, and to be more selfless and to just continue to push yourself further, perhaps not only for yourself but for that of someone else as well. To be some sort of guardian in some respects in the context of this film. So, but mostly, taking priority with the film within the film's narrative is this idea of taking risk and what it means to take such a risk. And that it means to move forward and to keep progressing. Which in the ideas of Arctic, it is pretty literal in that, and I do believe that can make the film a bit artificial, but there are qualities to it that are fascinating. I enjoy the minimalistic qualities in it, in that it is there's not a lot of dialogue that plays, and I found that to be very interesting. I aesthetically, it's pleasing. I mean, I'm just the Arctic Circle, the landscapes. I mean, it's very well shot, and just the big open wide shots were very, very nice to look at. Mads Mikkelsen puts in a good performance. I would argue, though, that his character is, it's not a performance that I feel is, that really makes its mark, as it's just doing a good job. It feels like anyone could have done that role, you know? Mads Mikkelsen, just being Mads Mikkelsen, does a good job, but it's not a role where I look at that and I just go, yeah, Mads Mikkelsen really carries and owns that particular part. It doesn't feel like there's any ownership to that particular role where it's like anybody can just do it to do it. Because his character is rather mute. I mean, it's just more or less his actions that define his character. And though it is driven by its minimalistic characteristics, it is unfortunately leaning on a typical aura, you know, in that it is like the big music, the big swells, you know, like the moments of when tension's supposed to play, music starts taking priority, it tries to, like, you know, boom, 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 you know, like tries to build up this sort of tempo. And I feel that over reliance to such a thing, I just feel kind of produces this film in a more typical lens and not in a craftsmanship, as is the moral to the moral point of the story. It's not more risk taking. It's less so. It was more so of it playing much more standard than that of being risk taking, which I think would be just working more in the vein of Silence, because I think that it has the capability of doing so. And it feels like in editing, it feels like it was that the initial idea, but then, you know, someone said that we need to sell this more to mainstream audiences, so let's just overlay it with music so that people are not just, you know, sleeping. But I think that in overall quality, it works so much better when music is not playing, because it actually creates more of that investment and more of that captivating, like more of that captivating like idea, and less so of the standard like quality that's present throughout the film. It does flirt also with the personality of that of like the Revenant. It seems it's inspired by that. I mean, there's like a polar bear, and at one point Mads Mikkelsen has to like fight off the bear. So it does take some cues from that. Thankfully, it's not, you know, like, and you know, like the entire movie, but it just kind of, you know, just kind of flirts with it a little bit. So I think it's well acted. I think that it has some good aesthetics. I think that my printer just started going off. I think that the reliance to its music and to the reliance to a certain behavior, which is that of standard and more general, you know, like craftsmanship. I just think that it just creates a overall film that feels generic, and it feels lackluster, and it feels more just on the surface, when it clearly has the potential to be something much more profound and much more captivating. And it just doesn't. It just plays pretty vanilla for the most part, and is kept by a general interest and some good acting. You know, keeps it afloat in that regard. And again, aesthetically, it has some merit going for it. But I just wish that the minimalistic characteristics were the main focus, and less so to the standard like quality, because standard like quality takes priority over those minimalistic qualities. And it has that mentality. It has that desire to be minimalistic and to act as such throughout the entire film, but it just eventually devolves into that typical standard, you know, survival like thriller. And I was just like, you know, when such things started to happen. So I liked it, but I can see, like, at the ending, like, you know, especially where I just thought, okay, they're gonna make a choice here. And then it reminds me that, oh no, we're just playing more to that standard edge, and I just wasn't big on that. But not enough to get me oh, I was interested, but I could see within the filmmaking, within the craftsmanship, that it has the capability to be much more, but it just doesn't. So. So yeah, so those are my thoughts on Arctic. I liked it enough, but I see that there are that it has the ability to be much more captivating and much more investing and much more overall emotionally just more resonant. But it just it just plays so typical, and I wish that that overall behavior was not present. I just wish that it took more risk, as is the point of the movie, the point of the story. I just wish it took more risk. So, but those are my thoughts. You guys, what are your thoughts on Arctic? If you guys have seen it, and it's on Netflix right now, but it'll be leaving pretty soon. So make sure you guys check it out pretty soon. Probably by the end of this month, it's probably going to be gone. So check it out when you guys get a chance to, or if you guys have seen it, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And that's going to be it for me, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. And until then, I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.